lot of regulations that apply specifically to the drivers, specifically their qualifications to drive a commercial motor vehicle across state borders. And I think the one that is kind of a current hot topic across the country is drivers that are driving for carriers that can't proficiently speak English. And if you really stop and think about that, it's actually a pretty dangerous thought to think that, you know, there might be someone out there carrying a load that's 50, 60,000 pounds on a highway where the speed limit's 75 miles an hour and they can't read signs. They can't speak English. And so there's a regulation out there that talks about the basic qualifications to be a licensed driver to drive a commercial motor vehicle across state lines is you need to be able to proficiently speak English. And what that means is you need to be able to speak in conversation. You need to be able to understand traffic signs and signals, word signals, and you need to be able to respond to official inquiries, meaning a highway patrol officer, a law enforcement officer. And so you can quickly realize how fast those violations can pile up, right? We had a case not too long ago where the driver could not speak English, and what you'll realize a lot of times is the highway patrol officers, they're not necessarily versed in the nuances of all of these federal regulations either. So what quickly became evident in this crash was the driver couldn't speak English and needed a translator. So the driver was sitting in the back of the Ohio State Highway Patrol cruiser, and the officer was calling to a company in Texas to try to find a translator. And right there, if you know the federal regulations, that's a violation right there. He can't respond to an official inquiry. If the driver can't get out at a rest stop and speak English to other passengers or travelers, that's a violation. If the driver can't see that a sign on the side of the highway can't read speed limit, that's a violation. You start getting into these, you know, the practices of the company. So again, you're looking at a situation where on that day, that driver negligently caused a collision. And we don't know what necessarily caused that collision because he couldn't speak English. And he couldn't sufficiently explain himself to the responding officer as to what happened. A translator needed to be called in Texas, and these are all in violations of the very basic driver qualifications set forth by these federal regulations. So an easier way to think about it is, who cares what happened out on the road today that caused the collision? This could have been prevented because he shouldn't even been on the road in the first place. If the company was following the federal motor carrier safety regulations, they would say, thanks for applying, but until you can speak English and we can test you on road signs and you can respond to official inquiries, we can't have you driving for us. So you're never on the road, and then if you're never on the road, you never go cause the collision with my client 2 years later. So in that case, when it came time to talk about our client's injuries, the story was almost less about the client's injuries and what happened that day, and more about, we know about your company and we know what your company does. In the current climate that we're in, this insurance company had no appetite for wanting us to file a lawsuit, and we were able to reach a very nice settlement without having to go to court.